Hey everyone, welcome to TechTalk Sports, an official podcast of Technician, NC State student newspaper. Another 2 weeks, another episode. We've got photo editor Alex in here, kind of a baseball knower, for our baseball preview. Obviously some big basketball games coming up, and we'll finish off with some V-Day talk. TechTalk is presented to you by Technician. Check us out on the web at technicianonline.com, Instagram at NCSU Technician, at Tech Sports on X, and as always, you can pick up a copy of the print on the stands every Thursday. Hector, play the intro music.
Big on the two fingers like this.
We lost the plot.
Yeah, we've lost the plot.
There we go.
All right, we're back here. Men's basketball versus Miami at 4 p.m. on Saturday, ESPN2. Kind of a big look-ahead game because we got UNC that Tuesday. And also, it's Valentine's Day at 4 p.m., kind of an awkward time. People who are couples maybe not getting a chance to get in there unless they've got like a super fan girlfriend or I don't know. Could be a problem with the attendance, I think.
I would use a different adjective. I would say a good girlfriend.
Okay.
Then you'd be able to go. But that's just me personally.
Yeah.
Whoa.
So
Let's not say that.
yeah, I'm not gonna argue there, but all right. It's also kind of an interesting game because Miami, they just beat UNC. Maybe it's a little bit of a letdown game for them as well because, you know, we don't have a number next to our name, but we're still a solid team. So what's your analysis here, Connor?
Well, NC State's been very close to a number for a couple weeks. Obviously, Monday night did not go as anybody anticipated. If you said you were expecting that, you're a liar. Michael Brown had a career game, hit 10 or 11 three-pointers. His career high was 3 before that. And they weren't short three-pointers either. Like, I was watching that game. They were like 27, 28, 30 feet, like stuff that I haven't seen him do all season. I mean, he's a lottery pick at the end of the day. Obviously, you shouldn't have one player go for 45, and a 41-point loss is not a great look. It's not like it's a bad team, though. Louisville is a tournament team. They're going to be a good contender. And the last time NC State had a really big loss, like an important big loss, 6-game win streak. We got 7 games left to end the season. Miami, they've been decent in the ACC. I can't say they're anything spectacular. Getting a win on UNC is huge, but, you know, NC State should handle business as long as you stay with Quadier, honestly. He's been doing what he needs to do.
Yeah.
Darian, we'll see which version of him we get. We're either getting 25 or we're getting 6.
Yeah.
That's all you get.
Yeah, I don't know. They're 36 in the net, so technically it's Q2, but that's a high Q2. That's a tough game. So, you know, we'll see what they can do there, but it will be a good win against the projected field because at this point NC State has 3, maybe 4. You know, if you count Virginia Tech after their big win against Clemson last night, but you had Liberty probably going to be in the field, but again they're a mid-major, so you never know. SMU and Clemson, maybe Seton Hall. So it will be a big win against the field at least. So looks like you want to say something, Alex.
Yeah, I mean,
Close to the mic.
I'm right here. So I honestly think you guys aren't giving Miami enough credit. I mean, they're 19-5 overall. They're 8-3 in the league, and 3 of their losses are ranked teams. They lost to BYU, they lost to Florida, and they lost at Clemson by 10 points. Their other 2 losses are by a combined 3 points. They lost to Florida State and Cal. So obviously those are not good losses in the league, but they've been in every game this season. They've got experienced leaders. I mean, Trey Donaldson and Malik Renaud, their best players. They're both seniors. You know, I know Jay Lucas is first-year head coach, but I think they're very similar to State in just how they, you know, are a brand-new roster, a ton of transfers, first-year coach. You know, so a lot of people didn't really know what to expect. But I think they're kind of underrated in terms of their metrics, just the record that they've kind of had. And that win they had over Carolina was kind of a wire-to-wire win. I don't know if Carolina was ever up by more than, like, 5 points in that game.
They never led.
They completely, like, regardless of the injury to Caleb Wilson, they completely shut him down. And Vasar wasn't really a factor. So, I mean, you know, it's a tall task. I mean, Miami's pretty good, and they're coming in here with a lot of confidence. So
Yeah.
yeah.
I think crowd also has to be a consideration for you too because look at the Virginia Tech game. I mean, the student Wolfpack Club had to send out an email to the whole group because there was some outrage from the NC State burners calling the student section, quiet. So
I mean, I was at that game. I believe Alex was at that game too. And there was a point in time, sometime, like halfway through the second half, where Wade turned around to the student Wolfpack section and he's like waving his arms up and down. The fact that you as a head coach have to hype up what's supposed to be a club of the biggest fans.
I mean,
Like
those are his guys too.
they've done all this stuff with what do they call themselves? The
Red
Red
Reckoners,
Reckoners.
yep.
It's not working. It's quite honestly, it's embarrassing.
Well, I
it's
think-
not a true college basketball environment. And I get that playing in an NHL stadium like Lenovo obviously isn't. It's not helping. I'm playing in Reynolds. I mean, it's nothing that matches to that. But at the same time, like, you're students, you get 4 years of sitting courtside at games, and then you're paying big bucks. So I mean, you got to buy into it at the end of the day.
There've been games where it's been really loud though, like Kansas. That was a good environment. I think it was just because it was noon. It was after the Krispy Kreme challenge, but I think they got rid of the Red Reckoners. I haven't seen any posts from them. So
I don't think that you can only have like these big crazy crowds when the team we're playing has a number next to their name.
yep.
I think you got to bring the same energy throughout. Look what happened at Georgia Tech. Didn't bring that same energy. One of the biggest upsets in the ACC this season.
I mean, I would say it's also just because the team that State has this year, they really feed off of the crowd energy as well. But understandably, like, it's tough. I mean, we talked about like giving them flowers and stuff, and some of the time the team has not played up to what their expectations have been and certain things like that. But I mean, also you just talked about the scheduling of this game that kind of, I mean, I wouldn't call it a trap, but it will be like, it's a little frustrating for a lot of people to kind of like meddle with the idea of having to choose one thing or the other on their Valentine's Day and stuff like that. So,
Yeah. I mean, I'd like to go, but I'm not going to because I got a reservation at 6:30 that I made well out because you gotta make a reservation like a month ahead because you're not gonna get any. Anyway, hopefully there might not be a great crowd on Saturday, but there sure as heck will be a great crowd on Tuesday for UNC, ESPN, 7 p.m. No Caleb Wilson, announced earlier today. He had a fractured hand, but should be electric.
I think the biggest thing for me, obviously, I'm a college basketball fan. I wanted to see Caleb Wilson play. He's one of the most talented players in the league. It's not even close. He's a lottery pick for sure. And I don't know. I think, listen, I'm a sports editor, but I'm also an NC State student. So obviously I'm an NC State fan. I don't like how if State wins that game, not saying they're going to, UNC still has a talented team. If State wins that game, you know exactly what Chapel Hill fans are going to say. Mm-hmm. They're going to be like, "Oh, we were missing our best player. Doesn't count." Which, I mean, as an NC State fan, kind of sucks because what do we hear? What do we hear all throughout football season? We beat them in football. Then what do you hear? Let's wait for basketball season.
Yep.
Here we are. Here's basketball season. What happens if State gets that win, and then all of a sudden you're making up more excuses?
Mickey Mouse, yeah.
I still think it's going to be loud. I still think if we win, we storm the court. And I still absolutely think we're going to get clowned for it. I'm totally with you, but I don't think the environment is going to be different from a fan perspective. Like from I'm going to be in the student section. I'm not covering the game.
Yep.
If we beat Chapel Hill, I don't care if Caleb Wilson's playing or not. I'm running on the field or on the court. And I think that that's a sign of a bigger shift in college athletics. Like, that was obviously Georgia Tech was a huge win. We got to do that, but like I don't feel like Miami should have stormed the court against Carolina. Like, that is a big win. They were hosting number 11 Carolina at full strength, and I don't think that they should have. We were in the office and we were talking about they shouldn't storm the court. And we're going to, and of course I'm going to because everybody else is going to if we win. But I don't think they should. And so I think going back to the conversation about the crowd and the student section, like, I just think that that's a result. Like, that's an effect of this new college basketball culture.
Okay, here's the question. If they win, are you going to make the trip over to the Bell Tower and celebrate?
No.
No?
No. Absolutely not. No.
Bring back celebrating on Hillsborough Street and at the Bell Tower.
I'm with that.
It's electric. They used to storm the chancellor's house How crazy is that? The Gregg Museum used to be the Chancellor's house.
Yeah.
Really?
People would run over
Yeah.
there and they would storm the
Oh, yeah,
Chancellor.
man.
That's so
I
sick.
didn't know that.
I will say some of my favorite memories as an NC State student, as an NC State fan, was when both men's and women's were going on their respective Final Four runs. And I remember we were at College Inn over on Western, and as soon as they played Oakland, had that huge overtime game. You know, Jack Golke, Trey Townsend had like 35. It was really, really scary. State ends up winning. My favorite memory, we packed like 10, 12 people into a minivan. I remember I was sitting in the trunk and everybody went to the bell tower and it was madness. There were people climbing on the flagpole and all that. Once again, not saying we should do that for Carolina.
Why
It's
not?
a regular season game.
Why not? It's a big game.
But it's a regular season
This could
game.
put us into the NCAA tournament effectively.
We're already in
That's
the
a-
NCAA tournament.
I don't know
right now.
about that.
I mean, you were just talking about how we need a couple wins. You know,
Yeah.
you need at least 3 wins to get in.
Yeah,
so.
for sure. But I don't think that UNC deserves that level of celebration.
This is-
now, if you beat Duke, I'm all for it. You beat a top 5 team.
Be a fan for a moment.
Okay.
What do we hate about Carolina fans?
What?
Like we hate the.
I'll let y'all get this one.
What?
But I'll talk for me. I shouldn't talk for all State fans. I hate the obnoxiousness and the better than attitude.
Uh-huh.
And if you're rushing the bell tower for a regular season game, even storming the court, in my opinion, a Georgia Tech top 10 team undefeated, I get that one. This is Carolina that is not full strength, coming off a loss in the regular season. I
And
don't.
an away game.
Yeah, I don't think it warrants. A court storming. First of all, definitely not a bell tower run.
It's a big game. That's what they used to do back in the 70s, back in the 80s. They would run from Reynolds and go to Hillsborough. I don't see why going to PNC should have killed that.
Yeah, I mean, I still think it'll mean a lot. I kind of want to talk about the logistics of the game, though. I mean,
Okay,
you
sure,
guys,
we
you
can
guys,
talk about
you
that.
guys know. I kind of want to talk about how Carolina's going to pivot from not being able to have Caleb Wilson and how like State's going to match up with them a little bit better.
Okay.
Well, who do you go to as your one now?
Well, I mean, I think obviously they're going to have to pound the ball inside a lot to Vasar, but I think that Carolina's wings are going to have a lot bigger of a, like there will be a lot more Jaron Stevenson, a lot more Jonathan Powell even. You know, I think you'll see Seth Trimble and Derek Dixon. I mean, everybody else's shots are going to have to go up, but I don't really see where their, you know, attack is going to change that much from trying to get it inside. I think obviously Wilson playing alongside Vasar is like a huge compliment, so he might be affected that way. But I mean, I'm just curious to hear what you guys think.
Well, I think them going to Vasar more creates a really interesting storyline for the game in general. Because if you're going to go to their big man, who's our big man? A UNC transfer. So that it could be even more interesting. But you were talking about players who rely, or how we have players who rely on the crowd and build up the crowd and all that. And there's one guy in particular, Quadir Copeland, who's been on a tear as of late. I saw a stat. I was scrolling Twitter the other night, and it was something about tracking the points of most points scored by like an assister to an assistee. And the top one, I forgot the player's name, someone to JT Toppin. And it was like the top 15. Quadir Copeland was on that list 3 times.
Mm-hmm.
Number 1 was Copeland to Paul McNeil. Number 2 was Copeland to Darian Williams. And number 3 was Copeland to Van Allen Lubin. I mean, he's going to be the X factor in every single game going forward. It's like, I've been in the press conferences with the opposing head coaches. They say that is the guy that they game plan for. It's what the entire offense is built around. I think early in the year they were going to Darian, right, against NC Central and, you know, all these group of 5 teams or whatever. Can't do that anymore.
Yeah, I think for me, the biggest part will just be Lubin. Even if he doesn't show up in the box score, he has to show up in general because they're going to pound a Visar now that Wilson is injured. And I think that's a big matchup problem. You know, there's a 3-4 inch height difference. You know, as far as physicality, Lubin, he's seen some criticism. Obviously, he's been a big part of our offense, but you know, there's a reason why UNC went away from him because they didn't believe in him, and he has to prove to them, you know, he deserved a spot. So I think that's what it's going to come down to for me, and whether or not they're going to shoot lights out like they have been recently.
Yeah, I mean, the weak link for Carolina all year has been the guards as well. So I think that State's experience advantage there is really important. I've been, in some of the games it depends on like who Quadir is guarding, but on the offensive end he's going to be a mismatch for whoever is having to guard him. Carolina doesn't have those long athletic wings like Drake Powell.
Yeah.
You might see Jaren Stevenson step out because he can do that and defend. But I just think, Trey Holloman and Paul McNeil and Copeland having big games would be, really successful for State, at least in their part, just because Carolina's advantage has always been inside this year, and so now that's been, compromised. So now they need even better performances out of their guards. So
Yeah.
And not to state the obvious, but I mean, in order to have those big games, those shots need to fall. State's been one of the best 3-point shooting teams in the nation. They were one of the only teams shooting 40% or more. From
Not
beyond
last
the
game.
arc. I think that number dropped below the 40 mark after last game. But that's the thing. Like in the Louisville game, in the Virginia game, in the Auburn game, they shot themselves out of it. And I mean, obviously, it got to a point where they were just putting shots up at that point. Like I saw Musa was taking a 3-pointer at the end of the game. Like that's obviously not going to matter. But you got to hit the shots. Paul McNeil is going to be another huge factor in this. He shifts the momentum like no other player. Like you get that Paul McNeil 3, you get the crowd into it, take off from there. He sparks those runs that they're going to need to win the game.
Yeah, it definitely seemed like he was searching against Louisville, just throwing shots up. And when they had McNeely on there and McNeil, Isaac McNeely, Virginia transfer, I was getting a little confused, though, not going to lie.
Isaac McNeely, NC State legend. If you know, you know.
Oh, yeah, of course. Yeah, I don't know. I think it's just going to come down to who shoots lights out from State and if Lubin can handle in the paint. So
I please don't storm the court. That would be embarrassing.
Okay,
it's a regular season.
Don't storm the court. Rush the belt.
Do whatever you want after the game. Don't
rush the belt
storm
out.
the court. Yeah. It's not a good look.
I think you're totally right. I think it's the guard play, and they have an option that they have not utilized. Mm-hmm. They have not given R.J. Davis a call. They could absolutely call R.J. Davis and say, "Hey, you have another year of eligibility that we're going to create for you." So
yeah,
I know it's last minute. They play Tuesday, but they could fly him up.
He was there for 17 years.
Today's Thursday.
He's got the playbook still.
Yeah. Today's Thursday. They can get it here by Tuesday. Yeah. Get him adjusted. Yeah.
Should we hit a Ramadan Mo?
That's a pull right there.
An absolute
okay.
legend. I mean, honestly, yes, we need big man depth. Get some rebounds. He was good for like 12, 13 rebounds a game.
I think he's as tall as Lubin, too. So
yeah, but his hustle, something else.
Yeah. All right, I guess we can move on to women's basketball. We've exhausted that topic a little bit. Number 11, Duke on the 19th. What's that, a week from today? But before then, they take on Notre Dame on Sunday. That's a big rematch from last year. I think that's when we had game day out here.
That was the most exciting game of the season. It's not even close.
Was that when
Sonia Citron hit a buzzer beater at the end of regulation to send it to overtime? And then it went to double overtime. That's also the game where Isaiah James hit that driving layup where she went behind the back and a little lefty lay.
That's what I was thinking of.
It was beautiful.
Yeah, we got Hidalgo. That's basically one of the few returning stars for Notre Dame. She scored 37 against Stanford at the beginning of the month, but it'll just come down to State's big three. You got Pierre, you got Brooks, you got Zam Jones, the big three versus Hidalgo, and I think it'll be an interesting matchup for sure. So,
well, I think it's a very storied series. They've met in the ACC tournament, ACC championship, a handful of times. They've met in front of College Game Day a time. I mean, but at the end of the day, Notre Dame's not the powerhouse they once were. They lost Olivia Miles. Neil Ivey's a fantastic coach, but I don't know.
Yeah, with no more NFL on Sundays and no MLB yet, I feel like there's going to be a lot more eyes on this one. So
the last time any NC State team played in South Bend, it did not go particularly well.
You're very correct about that. You're very correct.
Is that a football reference?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was. We were down 3 at halftime.
And what happened second half?
Yeah, you were covering that game. You can't say we.
Yeah. I was in the press box. That was hard. That was rough.
Yeah, touchdown Jesus.
I think obviously Notre Dame's bigger game to look forward to. Duke.
Yeah.
Duke's had their number They won in the NC State won the play for K game last year, but then won in the ACC championship. So
Yeah, I mean, Duke is really good. They struggled in non-conference. I think they were like 3-6 or something like that to begin the season. But they were playing really good competition. They lost to the likes of like LSU. I think they probably played South Carolina as well.
Mm-hmm.
they went on a stretch where they were 1-5 through 6 games, and the losses were West Virginia, South Florida, which are really bad losses. I remember those at the beginning of the season, and everybody was like, "Oh, Duke fell off."
Right, I think West Virginia beat them with like 4 players or something like that.
And it was 57-49. It was a very low-scoring game. But then they played the number 2, number 3, and number 5 teams at the time. So
well, I mean, if I'm not mistaken, I believe they were ranked preseason pretty high. They have a lot of returners, and I know Toby Fournier is really good. So I mean, obviously being undefeated in the league and going on the road and beating Louisville is really impressive. Carol Lawson's a great coach too. Everything that she does with Team USA. So I think it's hard. But it's not like State hasn't shown that they can't compete with the best teams in the league. I mean, the Louisville game went down to the wire, and they probably should have pulled that one out. So I mean, I don't think there's anybody in the league that State hasn't played that they can, aren't able to beat. I just think that they haven't shown that clutch gene at times. And so, I mean, they'll definitely be a dangerous team come tournament time. Their resume is lacking a little bit in terms of like that one statement win. But I mean, I think obviously this week's really important. So Duke can be that team that kind of like gets their confidence really, really going. So I mean, I'm looking forward to it. I don't think State has a lot to lose. I mean, obviously the Notre Dame game is important, but they'll just have to shut down Hidalgo. Notre Dame is not a very deep team, so. But yeah, the Duke game should be interesting.
Well, I feel like I say it on this podcast every single week, but it's like you said, NC State, the women's team, they can contend with anybody. And they've had a handful of ranked games where they absolutely should have won, and then they let it go in the last quarter, in the last 10 minutes, last 5 minutes, whatever. I mean, and you and I were both at the Play for K game against UNC where they went down big in the second half. They're down 10 with like 4 minutes left. All of a sudden, they come crawling back, and, a lot of randomness later, they've got a shot. And they've had 4 or 5 game-winning shot attempts this season.
Right.
None of them have fallen.
Yeah, I think something that's interesting and like something to think about in terms of that type of stuff is that the team gets a little fatigued towards the end of games. West doesn't, especially in games where like the competition is like perceived to be better. He's only playing 6 players. Yeah. The only person coming off the bench is Kaishi Lunan. And so in the last couple games, Virginia Tech is a pretty good team, and we've seen, Maddie Cox and Devin Quigley come off the bench and play, double-digit minutes. So I think that's something that West can do, honestly, a little bit more. I know it's hard to have the faith in those players when they haven't been in the big games, stuff like that. But, I mean, you never know if you don't give them a shot. And I think that the fatigue definitely is a factor late in games when other teams in the league are playing, with a longer bench.
Yeah. I think another caveat with that UNC loss was the fact that UNC still had State had the ball with 10 seconds left. They were inbounding on their side. UNC still had 4 fouls. They timed those fouls right. State doesn't even get a shot off. So whatever play West drew up had to be just a catch and shoot. And that's exactly what Zam did. And obviously it didn't hit. But I agree with the whole bench step thing. There's none. Kaishi Lunan, I think, has stepped up in a very big way. I think she's very talented. I think she needs more minutes, to be honest, to kind of give Zam and Zoe some more time to rest. Because, I mean, I've looked at games where they're playing 36, 37 minutes a game.
Right.
And it's ridiculous.
But, I mean, yeah, and especially the stress on Tilda Trigger and Camille Pierre. Because, I mean, they are getting a little bit of rest when West will sub in Lunan and they'll go small. But, it's just tough. I mean, their roster is pretty limited this year, especially losing Lorena Wu early in the season made it a lot tougher. But, yeah, I mean, that's just something that I'd like to see. I think that they got to experiment a little bit more with the teams that have a higher caliber of player.
I think when Trigger comes off the court, that's kind of where everything kind of starts to go downhill a little bit. And that's no shade to Maddie Cox at all. Maddie, great player, whatever. But Tilda Trigger's ability she forces the defense to switch up. She can stretch the floor. She can shoot threes. She's 6'6", so she's pretty demanding in the post. She's gotten a lot of confidence this season, which she did not have last year. So, I mean, I think she's just just probably, I'd say one of, if not the most important player going forward.
That's what I was gonna say. That's what I've been thinking for like a week or two now. Like for some reason we all overlooked Tilda Trieger all year. Like we've talked about Zam Jones, we've talked about Zoe Brooks,
The big three.
all the big three, Camille Pierre. Like I was totally on the Camille Pierre bandwagon before the season, and she's still been very good. But Tilda Trieger has been the most underrated player in the conference.
Well, it's just
in my opinion.
It's like Alex said. There's no bench depth. Like outside of the starting five and Kaisi Lunin, that's it. You're getting 37 minutes a game from your starters, and I don't think it's going to be sustainable, especially when you get into March and you're playing, 2 games in 3 days against top ranked teams and all that. So, and I trust Wes Moore. He's obviously built a fantastic program, and NC State usually makes deep runs in the ACC tournament, but back-to-back games where you're playing top 30 minutes, hard to imagine that they make that run.
Yeah. All right, should we talk baseball?
Let's do it.
That's good. All right, let's preview some baseball because we got a nice little season coming up here. The expectations.
You got so happy.
The expectations, I don't know. They're kind of up in the air at this point. Like last year, there were high expectations for a lot of guys, and maybe they didn't live up to them. Duden being ranked the top reliever didn't live up to that. Just a bunch of guys really didn't live up to their expectations. Sosa, but this year, personally, I don't know what you think, Alex, but I don't really know what to expect. But anyway, opening weekend in Puerto Rico. As always, listen on 88.1 WKNC. Andrew Sanders probably on the call. I'm not sure if he's there, but I would expect that. First, they play Washington Friday at 2:30, Indiana State on Saturday at 9:30 a.m., and then Seton Hall Sunday at 11 a.m., playing in some stadium down there in Puerto Rico. So just initial thoughts on the opening series, Alex.
Well, I mean, it would be better for them to get off on a better foot than they did last year. I know at the beginning of the year, they started off a little rough. But, I mean, I think the team is not similar in terms of, the pieces that they have, but it's similar in terms of newcomers and returners at the rate that they have. And so, watching this group in the fall and in the scrimmages in the spring, I think there actually should be a lot of expectations. I think they've got a lot of good pieces. And, they have a lot of flexibility with their infielders. So, I mean, we can kind of go down the list. But I think one of the transfers that, intrigues me the most is Sherman Johnson. Mm-hmm. So, he transferred in as a shortstop. And, he wants to play shortstop. I think that's something that he's kind of been expressive about. But they've had him taking reps at third and second. He played third in the fall, in this fall scrimmage, and was taking reps at second in the scrimmages in the spring. But he's from a prestigious program. I mean, he went to Dallas Baptist first, and then transferred and went to McLennan Community College, which is pretty notorious in Texas. I mean, they won a national championship in 2021, I think. And he performed there, and he's here now. I don't want to make a comparison, and it's not a racial comparison, but I just think he's a very similar player to Gino Groover in that he's got a lot of feel to hit. But I think Groover had he was a little more of a pure hitter, but Sherman Johnson is a little bit better of an athlete. And
that guy was pretty good.
Yeah, that guy was pretty good. So lofty expectations for him. But then some of the other pieces in the field. I mean, Mikey Ryan, the coaching staff is absolutely in love with him. Because he's a grinder, and he's got a really high baseball IQ, so he's making the right play a lot of the time. And so it should be a lot of fun to see them up the middle, or if Luke Nixon's playing second base, which we expect him to play, he's got a lot of the same characteristics. But, I mean, I think the biggest question is kind of what the rotation is going to look like. I know they announced that their weekend rotation for this weekend, you have Duden starting on Saturday. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, he expected to be in that role. We'll see Cooper Consiglia out of the bullpen still. But obviously, so much of this stuff is liable to change, especially in pitching, because you get a couple of guys that start being consistent, and then you can kind of fall in love with them and kind of ride them. Especially at this level, it's hard to find guys who are really, really consistent. So, I mean, I would, be looking at Duden's first couple of starts and see how he goes. I know he tried to start as a freshman as well, so it's not like he's just stepping into this role without, previous experience. But I have high expectations for the team. I think they have a lot of talent. I think they got a lot of good pieces.
Yeah. Let's just go down the line then. You got Ty Head coming off a great year in center. I mean, not much else to say other than, you expect a lot from him after last season.
Right. I mean, he's a tremendous athlete, so the defense is not a question with him. I think he just needs to find some more consistency at the plate.
Yeah.
The strikeout numbers and the fall scrimmages. I didn't think that he was looking too good, but stuff like that with the athleticism that he has, he can put it together really quick. And I know he's very up and down. So sometimes it's not too bad to be streaky. And when he gets hot, obviously he's going to be a constant for the Wolfpack in the middle of the lineup. And so he could be a real star if he takes a jump offensively, just because of how he plays both sides of the ball.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then you got McHugh at first. Obviously, that's my Italian stallion. I love McHugh, so I can't say anything bad about him for sure. And, watching him at the HRDX, he's pounding. So,
right. Yeah. This year I think is going to be a little bit tougher for Chris McHugh, just because I think teams are going to game plan around him a little bit harder. He's going to be the focal point of the offense. He hit 365 last year. And so, the question with the offense that I have is who's going to be surrounding him that's going to, provide a little pop and kind of shelter him in the offense. I know that his power numbers weren't off the charts last year. I think he only had 7 home runs or something. Yeah. But if they get that consistent production in terms of extra base hits and, getting on base that he had last year, that's completely ideal. And so I think a couple of those guys, they brought in Dalton Bargo from Tennessee. So he's obviously really important. I see him more as just being their DH at the beginning of the season. That'll depend on, how well the catchers are playing, if Drew Lanphier is hitting. But Bargo's another guy that gives them a lot of flexibility, for what he lacks in athleticism. He can play about everywhere. He's taken reps at third, and he's played outfield at Tennessee before, and then we saw him in the fall as a catcher. So, States, they have a lot of guys, and that's why I was talking about it's so important that Head becomes a big bat in the middle of the lineup as well. It's just, at the top, you're going to have Luke Nixon and Mikey Ryan and those scrappy guys, but they need a little pop in the middle of the lineup. And so that's where I think he comes in.
Yeah, I think if you see Lanphier catching, not swinging the bat real well, which that was kind of the case last season, other than I think he had a walk-off grand slam at one point.
I think it was in the middle of a game, but still, against Virginia.
Other than that, the bat wasn't so consistent. I think you'll see Bargo in there catching if things aren't going too well for Lanphier. But obviously, defensively, Lanphier, he's your guy. I think he was a top recruit out of Florida, if I'm not mistaken.
I think you're confusing him with Sosa. I think Drew Lanphier was terrific in high school. He redshirted his freshman year. The other guy that States have taken reps at catcher right now is Vincent DiCarlo. He's a newcomer as well. So
that's right.
I honestly wouldn't expect to see Dalton Bargo catch much at all this year. I think he's more of the third option, just in terms of protecting his bat in the lineup and keeping him healthy throughout the year. I think they value his offense way more than they value any of his defense, at least to my knowledge at this point.
Okay.
Yeah.
There you go. Other guys. What about Ryan? What you said they speak highly of him. What did you see when you were there at the scrimmages in the fall?
Yeah, just he's very heady, so he's making the right play. Great base runner, so he's getting good jumps on steals and always paying attention to being a step ahead, knowing where the next play, what's going to happen in every scenario. I think he scored State's only run when they played Carolina in the fall. But he's another guy who can play all over the infield and he can run a little bit. So I think he just adds a nice little bit of variety into their lineup as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I'm interested to see Braden Fraseman and Wright, because last season he showed some flashes, but there were also parts of the season, especially towards the end, where the consistency wasn't there. I'm excited to see what he does, what kind of step he takes, but you got to see some more consistency, I think, from him.
Right. I think that's definitely something that he can do. I think other teams aren't going to be as focused on him, this year as well. And hitting in the middle of that lineup, I think there's not a lot of pressure for him. Hitting 11 home runs last year, I think he got his foothold in the ACC, and so I'd expect a little bit more from him this year. But even still, having a year like he had last year would still benefit the team greatly.
Yeah. There you go. What about left field? Rhett Johnson or Wiggins?
So I know that Noah wrote in about Rhett Johnson, and Rhett Johnson started in the fall against Carolina as well. He's another one of those little guys. It kind of depends on what Avon's feeling with his lineup. You know, Wiggins is a lot less contact oriented, so he's got some kinks in his swing that he's got to work out. But I mean, athletically, I mean, he's a huge body, and you know, he's a presence at the plate and a presence in left. I think, you know, Rhett Johnson has the edge over him in terms of, you know, being a little more scrappy, putting the bat on the ball. But I mean, it's definitely interesting. I wouldn't. That might be one of those situations where it's kind of a revolving door until they find somebody. I think Wiggins I think it's his spot if he shows some consistency at the plate, just because Rhett Johnson's so young and, you know, Wiggins is just a lot more physically mature than he is at this point. And he's used to playing high level competition. I mean, he played in the Big Ten, so. I mean, that's just my standpoint on it right now. I mean, Rhett Johnson looked good in the fall, you know, hitting the ball and running and playing defense. So
yeah, that's good to know. What about the rotation specifically, maybe in the bullpen? You know, is there anybody that stands out? Because to me, you got Nance, you got Consiglio, who maybe didn't have a great year last year, but he's a guy you recognize. Other than that, it's kind of question marks.
Right. Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of opportunity for a lot of the new guys. I think, you know, a couple of the newcomers that came in that I kind of had my eye on in the scrimmages was Truett Manuel, and then Collins Black. They were both up to, I think, 95 in some of the scrimmages earlier, you know, this month. So I would look for them to get innings early, you know, whether that be in midweek or right now. It really is all up in the air to me, honestly. I think Elliott's going to give all his guys a chance at the beginning of the year. That's kind of what these, you know, games are for. You get to face a good lineup and, you know, better competition before you kind of just get into your home series and kind of like get, you know, gear up for conference play. And so he's going to kind of, you know, just put everybody out there and find the guys that he wants. But, I mean, I would look out for Collins and True Emmanuel as, like, other than Nance and Consiglio, obviously, because they need those guys to be consistent out of the pen. Those guys have been hyped up a lot, too, as well. So
yeah. I mean, last year you might not have expected, you know, Schaff and Duden and Nance to all come through and just be like a solid, you know, relieving part of the pen at the end of the season.
Right.
You know, you didn't see that from Nance, at least.
Yeah.
So.
No, I mean, another guy I would keep my eye on, too, is Aiden Kitchings. I mean, he started the game in the fall. And then there's a couple local guys, Sam Harris from Broughton and Luke Hemrick from Apex Friendship. So, I mean, they have a lot of experience, and, you know, high school competition around here is pretty good. And, you know, it's always good to get your young arms out there and you know, get them some experience at this level. So, I mean, Hemrick also being a lefty helps out as well. You know, I know we didn't talk about that, but the split in the bullpen is like 11-4 or something like that with only 4 lefties. So, you know, other than Consiglio, it would be nice to have somebody else step up who's you know, got something from the left side.
Yeah, definitely. Avon, you're 30. You know, he talks a lot about how he's still loving it, but, you know, how many years do you think he's got left?
I mean, I don't have any information on that front. I can't speak for Elliott. But, you know, I think there's still a lot of, even in this area, with there still being a lot of joy in it for him and his players still really rallying around him. I feel like he still maintained his culture, you know, even with all the transferring that's going on. And
definitely.
So,
yeah.
I mean, as far as that's concerned, like, I would give him a few more. You know?
Yeah. I'd like to see him stick around at least until I'm like, I got kids and like got a job, you know, where I'm still paying a lot of attention. Maybe, you know, it'd be sick if, you know, my kids are still watching Elliott Ava. He's like 80 out there. That would be pretty cool.
Connor, I know you said you had something on that front. You want to talk about Avon a little bit?
Nothing. It was just I was along those lines of how much gas Avon's got left in the tank. I mean, the way he's built up this program into a big contender in the ACC. I mean, they've gone to a couple College World Series in the last couple of years. But I don't know. He just, the culture, that's like you're saying, the culture he's built is second to none. I think he is one of, if not the biggest personality in terms of NC State athletics. I think Josiah and Daniel can both speak on this as ones who've been in the press conferences and interviewed him. He just lets his mind, he just, there's no filter. He just says what he wants to say. And it's something that's so rare to see in college sports nowadays, we saw it with Will Wade early. I think he's going to rein it in.
Mm.
Avon's never done that. Avon never will do that. He's always been true to himself. I don't know. He's just an NC State staple. I mean,
Yeah,
he's only got so much left.
He went here, like, he's been here so long, so love that guy. All right, maybe
Character.
we can move on to softball.
Well, if I could, I want
sure.
to make a comp real quick.
Sure.
To NC State baseball to the Seattle Seahawks.
Okay.
Just really quick, I think preseason the expectations are very similar. You know, you look at the Seahawks and like they're supposed to be good, but
There's some question marks.
there were
Sam
some question
Darnold,
marks for sure. Yeah. Ty Head is Jackson Smith and Jigba.
Okay.
I mean that's a good comp personally. So just like at the Seattle Seahawks won the Super Bowl, and they're the best team ever in the history of the sport, that NC State baseball is going to do the same thing. So
Okay.
I wanted to say that personally. You know, I felt it was important.
You wanted
to
a
the
victory
content.
lap.
Yes, I wanted a victory lap. Just really quick.
Yeah.
That was the only reason.
I don't care about your victory lap, but we can celebrate the downfall of the Patriots. Sure.
Fair.
Yeah.
Fair.
There you go. All right, let's talk a little softball because they were leading LSU late in the game. It was 7-2 going into the seventh, I believe, and it kind of just all fell apart for them. Win Gore threw a great 6-inning, 3-run game. The Pack was leading, and then Morgan Talley comes in. She threw over 100 pitchers the day prior against Lamar, came back out there to finish the game against LSU, and it all fell apart. But they finished the Tiger Classic down in Baton Rouge 2-3, but they have another great opportunity at the Shiners Classic, Clearwater Invitational, or Shiner Children's rather, Clearwater
Quite a few
Invitational.
of them.
Yeah, a lot of good teams. You got number 13 Georgia, Missouri, number 8 Texas A&M, number 1 Texas Tech, UCF. Another tough test, I would say. I mean, you had Illinois down there in Baton Rouge. LSU's tough, Lamar, but that's a tough ask. I think even you might see one or two wins. So, softball could start on the wrong foot, but we'll see once they come back, start playing a little easier non-conference play, and then ease into ACC play.
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of like what we were talking about earlier with Duke in women's basketball. It's good to get tested early. I think, they'll learn a lot from playing these games, and it'll help them build, especially once they get back home. And it's kind of, I don't want to say smooth sailing, but, they can kind of like, their competition won't be up to that same level, and they'll be battle tested, so, they'll know what to expect come league time.
I feel like this is a prove it year for Lindsay Leftwich.
Definitely.
Not saying like, not trying to slander her at all, but you're rebuilding a program. You've been 6-18 in the conference back-to-back seasons. They're not going to make the noise we want them to with Georgia and A&M and Texas Tech and all these insane non-conference games. But I want to see those conference wins bump up a little more. Maybe get a couple series under your belt, make the ACC tournament, make some noise there. No one's expecting a big national championship push. Softball is very top-heavy in terms of their very good teams, but I want to see better competition in the conference this year and come up with some of those series wins that have been lacking for the last couple of years.
Yeah.
And once again, it's a rebuild. I mean, you can only expect so much progress, but year 3, I feel like that's when we need to start moving the timetable up a little bit.
Yeah, I think she does have like a top 25 recruiting class for next year, so she might get another, but next 2 years, it's definitely
There's got to be
you
something
gotta see
soon.
something. Yeah, another team that's playing a lot of ranked matchups lately. Number 8 women's tennis. They've played 5 straight games against top 10 teams, and 7 straight ranked games. Number 23 Florida. That was a couple weeks ago. Then they lost to number 3 UNC. They beat number 8 Oklahoma State. Lost to number 4 Auburn. Lost to number 5 LSU. And they face number 2 Ohio State Friday, and then they face number 17 Michigan on Sunday. So pretty tough slate for them, but they've been standing with the competition, and tennis is one of those sports where if you can't compete, you're not gonna have a chance. So we'll see what happens with them. Then we also have got swimming ACC championships in Atlanta. I'm thinking probably a number 2 finish for the men behind Cal. Cal is just a juggernaut, and swimming, and probably a number 4 finish for the women. You know, you got Virginia up there, and a few other solid teams. I think Cal's women's team is also very solid. So we'll see what they do down there. That finishes up in a week and a half, I believe. Other than that, campus happenings. You know, there's not that's the Yik Yak segment. All right, we got the Yik Yak segment, but we're doing campus happenings. I think it's a better name.
I like it.
I don't know. All right, my first note: they took away our chairs out of the court of Carolina. What's up with that? I know they were broken. 90% of them were probably half broken, but I still like to sit in those broken chairs and enjoy myself in the sun. You know, it's a little disappointing.
Well, are they going to bring them back?
I don't know.
I'd say they got a little bit of time. I mean, it's not like the weather's been ideal for sitting out there recently.
They were all broken. I assume they just threw them out. I don't know.
Well, I hope we get some replacements, but they might, you know, considering that they'll probably get broken again, you know, in a little bit of time. But at the same time, I mean, they left these chairs out there through these winter storms. So I mean, what did they expect? You know.
Well, the thing is, those things were there. I remember them from our freshman year.
Long time.
And they just started breaking down recently. I think people were, you know, breaking them.
Do you know how they broke?
No.
During the snow, they used them as sleds.
Oh, really?
Yeah, there's tons of videos on social media.
I did not see that.
Yeah. That's how 3 or 4 of them are in 100% good shape, and another 3 or 4 are destroyed.
Yeah.
Like just absolutely destroyed. They're going down that brick hill next to like the Caldwell, like that area, the Court of Carolina area. They're just taking them to the top of the hill and sledding them down.
I was unaware. Well, I hope we get some new ones because that's a nice. Those were nice. Those are good nap chairs. I feel like
they were good sleds too.
Okay. Did you participate?
I did last year. I did this year. When it snowed last year, I did.
Fair enough.
I also did last year, but I think it was because it was our freshman year, both of ours, so
yeah,
it was a lot more accessible.
Oh my God,
freshman activities.
Oh my God, we're old.
Yeah, well,
we're so old.
Valentine's Day.
What about it?
I don't know. I just put it down.
Y'all going to see some NC State basketball on Valentine's?
I'm not going to be at the game. This is one of the only men's basketball home games that I'm not going to cover this season. I'll find a way to watch it, whether I pull it up on Reel or maybe a little broadcast right now. Just be like, oh yeah, you get to play the game.
Yeah, I wish I made like a 9 p.m. reservation.
Right, like,
oops, I didn't realize we would be playing on Saturday.
Do any of your girls listen to the podcast?
Yeah.
No.
Oh,
okay. I'm not gonna say anything that'll get me in trouble.
But I'm also abstaining from that as well.
You already said that
I've played these games before. This doesn't.
You already said that at the dinner you're just gonna be watching under the table.
Okay, well we're not gonna be eating dinner at 4 p.m.
At 4.
So
thank God it's at 4.
It's fine.
Our freshman year it was at 7 p.m. Remember that? And I was looking at the score. I got in trouble. So.
I mean,
I didn't have a girlfriend then. I was
in the Miami game under the table. That's dedication. So
yeah,
I mean,
I'm not going to be watching it under the table. We're not going to be at dinner at that point in time. My point is, I'm going to be keeping up with the game. All right.
It'll be on the radio. We're driving. To
I'd be a bad sports editor if I didn't keep up with NC State basketball after all I've covered this year.
It's a good job. It's a good job because that's an excuse now.
Like, right? Like it's for work. It's work purposes.
You won't be a bad sports editor, but you'll be a neglectful significant other.
I'm gonna be neglectful. On. Those are not. It is not one or the other.
Once we sit down at that table,
y'all are trying to trap me here. This is ridiculous. You especially.
They can't see me on camera. I'm playing devil's advocate.
Yeah, Hector, the producer over here, he is stirring the pot. He's got a little spoon right here. He's just...
Yeah. Corporate's up with them. They're trying to get some content out of this.
You're
this
wired
is clip
right now.
farming at its
Ben's
finest.
got some parlays on the podcast.
Whoa! No parlays. No parlays.
No, there are definitely parlays. There are definitely.
In this building, yeah, for sure.
Not in this room.
Yeah.
Yes, fair.
There was a big bet.
You're making it sound really bad right there. No.
Right.
It's for the content.
It's change this from campus happenings to clip farm.
Okay.
That's what it needs to be.
Okay. Well, all right. I am basketball. You go to Carmichael these days, and you can't find a court, which is kind of unfortunate, but it is fun to be a part of an IM team. I will say, but I feel like so the three of us here, Connor and Alex. Josiah's not a part, and then we got the four of us. I forgot Hector.
Well, they don't know Hector
Yeah,
exists.
no,
He's just a
Hector,
voice.
You're right.
I'm
Sorry.
just here.
You know, we're on an IM team, and I'm the kind of player where a good game for me is like you knock someone over, you get the ball, and you like you point at them. Like that's a good game for me.
got
I
like
have
Draymond.
I have been a victim to a Daniel Suzanne turning into prime Brian Dawkins at midcourt. I got the ball and he just boom.
Yeah.
And I'm all of a sudden I'm face down on the court. It hurts, bro, but nobody hustles more than him.
Low talent, high motor.
Well,
I'll say that.
I mean, we did some bumping and bruising last week, and that didn't really work
No.
out. So we might have to
There will be
change
more
the
bumping and
schedule a
bruising
little
in
bit.
2 hours.
There'd be
2
more
hours
of it.
from this
We're
recording.
doing more of it.
All right, I'm turning up the motor and less relying on.
We're
like,
winning,
No more
all right.
shooting. No more driving to the hoop. I'm just gonna be fouling and seeing. if
What are
they
you,
call.
about-
Dennis Rodman?
Yeah.
I'm not playing basketball. I'm just swinging.
I will say the
I mean-
way, not like in the style I play, but like I love talking trash, right? Like at any point, I know Alex has seen this a bunch, and no matter if I'm playing good, if I'm playing bad, I will be the Quadier Copeland in the sense that I will be talking your ear off. I will be talking trash, no matter if we're up 10 or down 20. It does not matter. You will be hearing from me. And I tried to be nice at the start of last game. The other dude like give me a little fist bump. He's like, "Yo, what's your name?" I was like, "Oh yeah, that's cool." Then I heard some dude on the bench talking after I missed one shot. I was like, "Oh yeah."
He didn't shake my hand at the end of the game.
Who?
The guy that scored 35.
Oh really?
Yeah, he didn't shake my hand.
Yeah, that dude was a problem.
Hey, y'all can blame that on me though, because I shot the ball and like gave him that extra possession at the beginning of the game by accident when they like threw it out of bounds and I came on the court.
Oh yeah.
Because
That
I
was-
thought they would just call it like out of bounds. You know?
No, there's a whole lot of ways that game went wrong, but hey,
Uh,
all I'm saying is the Seahawks and the Patriots both lost their first game of the season, and where did they end up?
there you go.
So, still got
Yeah.
5 games left. We'll be good.
Plenty of season.
We alright in the West.
That's really wishful thinking when like majority of the team, well at least me, who doesn't know how to play basketball.
It's like 4 people on the team that are like that.
Name them.
No, no. What you're trying to get me canceled?
Editor in chief Sky.
Managing editor Nicole.
I'm surprised I had more
Daniel
fun.
Suzanne.
I'm surprised I had more fun than I expected with it.
And Hector.
Yeah.
And that's all the people I will be naming, and that's it.
There's one more.
I will not be naming anyone.
Okay.
I only named one person.
Okay. All right.
You can
well,
get the others.
Yeah, I won't. It's all good. All right, that's all.
We're
I got.
rambling now.
Any more campus happenings from you guys?
Club baseball, Valentine's Day, rivalry series against ECU.
Okay.
That's where you should be at.
What time?
Oh, probably like in the morning. 11 o'clock.
There's
We
no
play a
set time?
doubleheader on Saturday.
Oh, you played a doubleheader on
Playing a
Valentine's
doubleheader,
Day.
Yeah. Yeah.
Are there,
I didn't schedule it.
are like some of the players not happy about that, or
You know, probably.
yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. So the girlfriends at least,
Yeah.
but
It's okay. Nothing
Yeah.
better than going to Greenville and playing club baseball on
Oh, yeah.
Saturday, you know.
yeah,
Nothing
Guy
like
Smith
it.
Stadium.
yeah. There you
Gets
go.
rowdy.
That sounds like a
Gets rowdy.
dream.
Let's go.
I will say I got one more campus happening as we were
Okay.
as y'all were sitting here talking about baseball.
You got like 2 minutes.
Shoot.
Time rush. Red out for UNC. Could this be the year we finally see red versus light blue uniforms?
No, we're not.
Please, let's
We're not.
let's
Also,
just,
the red
let's all
uniforms,
manifest it.
The red uniforms are terrible.
Okay,
I can't lie.
I'm-
They're like the bottom.
Obviously, the
two
state ones are the
state
best, but I'm just saying, like in a pipe dream, right? Like you get the red versus the blue. Like that's
Color
just
rush.
that's just a classic. Yeah, like a color rush game, like a 2018 NFL Thursday
I
night.
don't know. They should wear the retro. Wear the
Yeah,
state.
I think
wear
I
the
think they
state.
go. I think
Wear
they
the
go
state.
state.
Yeah.
I think they should go state.
No.
But the red versus blue would just be fun. It
All
would
right.
make the rivalry so much better.
All right, and if they win, rush the bell tower. Come on.
Don't
Maybe
not-
don't rush the court.
don't
rush
storm the
bell
court.
Tower.
Please.
There we go.
want
All right.
another $1 billion.
Thanks for listening. Check us out next week, or I guess we're bi-weekly now. In 2 weeks, we'll bring you some more content. Thank you very much. Take care. Thanks for listening.